All right, so get this. Today, we're going deep on some pretty wild predictions about the future.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not talking like your usual, futurology stuff.
Okay.
This is some next level stuff.
Yeah.
Our source material is this YouTube video discussion between a data analyst named Clif High and a remote viewer, Dick Allgire.
Interesting combo.
Right. And they're predicting some seriously out there things.
Like what?
Well, for starters, they say Joe Rogan is going to interview Donald Trump.
Whoa.
I know, right? And they're saying this interview is like a signpost that we're entering this crazy new era they call Sci-Fi World.
Sci-Fi World, huh? Sounds kind of far out.
Totally. But here's the thing. It looks like their prediction about the interview might actually be coming true.
Really?
Yeah. So now I'm thinking maybe we should take these guys a little more seriously.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty wild if they called that interview way back when.
Exactly. So that's what we're going to unpack today. How did they come up with this prediction? What is this whole sci-fi world thing, and what does it all mean for us?
All right. I'm intrigued. Let's dive in.
Okay, so first let's talk about Clif High.
Yeah.
This guy is fascinating. He uses linguistic analysis software to scan like massive amounts of internet data.
So like he's analyzing what people are saying online?
Yeah, basically. He's looking for patterns in the language we use online. And he claims this technique lets him predict major events like years in advance.
Wow, that's like digital soothsaying or something.
Right. He says he even predicted the 2008 financial crash, like way back in 2003, just by analyzing online data.
That's pretty impressive if true.
I know, right? So that's one side of the equation, the data analysis side. But then we have Dick Allgire, who brings this whole other dimension to the table with remote viewing.
Okay, so for those who don't know, remind us what remote viewing is.
Sure. So basically, remote viewing is like this mental ability where you can perceive information about a target that's not physically present. Like you could be in one room and describe what's happening in another room or even across the world.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that. It's like psychic espionage or something.
Sort of.
Yeah.
But in this case, Allgire was given a blind target to remote view.
Meaning he didn't know what he was looking for.
Exactly. And the results were pretty shocking. He produced this drawing of Joe Rogan, like with a beard and a cap and everything.
Wait, he drew Joe Rogan without ever having seen him?
Yeah, and this was way before Rogan was like super famous, so it's not like Allgire could have just seen his picture somewhere.
That's wild.
It is, and there's more. He also predicted this major life decision for Rogan, like having to choose between two paths.
Interesting.
And you know how Rogan moved from Los Angeles to Texas a few years back?
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Well, that move was heavily influenced by his changing viewpoints and lifestyle. And Allgire predicted something like that would happen.
Okay, so we have data analysis predicting world events and remote viewing predicting personal decisions. It's like they're approaching the future from two totally different angles.
And somehow they both converged on this Joe Rogan-Trump interview.
Which they predicted way back in 2009.
Yeah, before Trump even thought about running for president, they saw this interview happening, and they described it as unscripted, daring covering topics like UFOs, Epstein, Stormy Daniels, even Russiagate.
Wow, that's incredibly specific.
Right. So the question is, why is this particular interview so significant? What does it have to do with Sci-Fi World?
Good question. I think that's where things start to get really interesting.
Okay, lay it on me.
So Clif High believes this interview is like a marker, a signpost that we're entering this new era he calls Sci-Fi World.
Okay, and what exactly does that entail?
He describes it as a future period with rapid technological advancements, a financial revolution, and like a complete shift in how we understand our place in the cosmos.
Like flying cars and teleportation and stuff.
Maybe not that outlandish.
Look.
But think about the things we consider science fiction today. Space travel, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering.
Okay, I can see that becoming more commonplace.
Exactly. And it's not just about the technology. It's about a paradigm shift in human consciousness.
So we're not just talking about new gadgets, but a whole new way of thinking about ourselves and the universe.
Exactly. Both High and Allgire's data point to this massive secrets revealed event that will fundamentally change our understanding of human history.
Secrets revealed? Like what kind of secrets?
That's the big mystery. And get this, they both believe Antarctica plays a key role.
Antarctica. Now that's intriguing.
I know, right? It's like they're suggesting something is hidden. There's some ancient knowledge or technology waiting to be rediscovered.
So Antarctica is like the key to unlocking the sci-fi world.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
And they see this secrets revealed event as a catalyst for this massive shift in our understanding of ourselves and our origins.
Okay, now my mind is officially blown. So how do we go from where we are now to this secrets revealed event and the dawn of sci-fi world? What's the missing link?
Well, Clif High believes that the collapse of what he calls fake science is a necessary step.
Fake science.
Yeah, he predicts this reckoning that will expose the flaws in our current scientific understanding, and that will pave the way for a new era of genuine innovation.
So it's like hitting the reset button on scientific progress.
In a way, but he doesn't see it as a negative thing. He sees it as an opportunity to rebuild our understanding of the universe from the ground up.
Okay, but what could possibly trigger such a dramatic shift in the scientific community?
Remember that intergalactic internet Clif High keeps talking about?
Yeah, the cosmic library of knowledge.
Right. He believes we're on the verge of accessing this vast repository of information, a cosmic database that's been around for millennia.
So instead of Googling for answers, we'll be searching some kind of cosmic database.
That's the idea. It's like tapping into the collective knowledge of the universe.
But how would we even begin to decode information from another potentially alien intelligence?
That's a huge challenge, and one that Clif High acknowledges could take decades, maybe even centuries, to fully unravel.
So we're talking about a long-term project.
Definitely. But he believes this information holds the key to unlocking a whole new level of scientific understanding. Imagine a civilization that's potentially thousands, even millions of years ahead of us.
Yeah, the knowledge they possess could be beyond our wildest imaginations.
Exactly. And that's why he calls it Sci-Fi World. We're talking about a future that sounds straight out of a science fiction novel.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture. But if this intergalactic internet really exists, what kind of information could it contain? Like, what are we talking about here?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It could be advanced scientific knowledge, philosophical insights, maybe even a record of civilizations far older than our own. Clif High also believes it could contain the key to understanding consciousness and our true place in the universe.
Okay, now that's some seriously mind-blowing stuff.
It is. It's like we're standing on the edge of a whole new era of discovery and understanding.
I can't believe we've gone from a simple prediction about a Joe Rogan-Trump interview to talking about intergalactic internet and the secrets of consciousness.
I know, right? This deep dive is taking us to some unexpected places.
It certainly is, and we've only just scratched the surface.
There's a lot more to uncover. We haven't even touched on the financial implications of Sci-Fi World, or the challenges we might face along the way.
Oh yeah, Clif High has a lot to say about cryptocurrency too, doesn't he?
He does. And it's not just about investing in Bitcoin. He sees cryptocurrency as a crucial piece of this whole Sci-Fi World puzzle.
Oh, I guess we'll have to save that conversation for part 2.
Sounds good to me. I'm ready for more.
Me too.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, folks, because this deep dive is just getting started.
Well,
Welcome back. You know, it's funny. Before we started this whole deep dive, I thought Sci-Fi World sounded like something straight out of a comic book. But now I'm starting to see how these seemingly outlandish predictions are like actually grounded in real-world trends and data analysis.
It really is a testament to how quickly our world is changing. We're living in this age of exponential technological advancement, and what seems impossible today could be totally commonplace tomorrow.
Yeah, it's definitely making me rethink my assumptions about the future. So let's talk more about this intergalactic internet. Clif High believes it's this vast repository of information, a cosmic library that could revolutionize our understanding of science history, even consciousness itself.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Imagine accessing a database of knowledge accumulated over millions of years, potentially, from civilizations far more advanced than our own.
Okay, now I'm picturing some kind of cosmic search engine like Google for the galaxy.
Yeah.
But how do we even begin to decode information from a source we can barely comprehend?
That's the challenge, isn't it? Clif High acknowledges that it could take decades, if not centuries, to decipher this information. Think about how long it took us to decode ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Yeah, true. It's like cracking a cosmic code. But what if this intergalactic internet contains information that challenges our fundamental beliefs about the universe and our place in it? Could we even handle that kind of truth?
That's a valid concern. Clif High predicts that the unveiling of this cosmic knowledge will be accompanied by a collapse of what he calls fake science. It'll be a period of reckoning where long-held scientific theories and dogmas are just shattered.
So it's not just about gaining new knowledge, but also about unlearning outdated or incorrect information.
Precisely. It's about shedding our preconceived notions and embracing a new paradigm of understanding.
That sounds both exhilarating and terrifying. But if this intergalactic internet is as groundbreaking as Clif High suggests, why haven't we discovered it already? With all our telescopes and space probes, wouldn't we have at least stumbled upon some evidence of it?
Well, Clif High suggests that this information might not be transmitted in a way we can easily detect. It could be encoded in subtle energy patterns or embedded within the fabric of space-time itself.
So it's not like we're looking for radio waves or light signals. It's something far more complex and potentially beyond our current scientific instruments.
Exactly. It might require a whole new way of perceiving and interpreting the universe. It's also possible that this information is intentionally shielded or cloaked, accessible only to those who have reached a certain level of technological or spiritual development.
Okay, now I'm really starting to feel like we're in the realm of science fiction. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk more about the practical implications of Sci-Fi World. You mentioned earlier that cryptocurrency will play a major role in this new financial system.
Yeah, Cliff High's data analysis points to cryptocurrency as being far more significant than just a new form of currency. He sees it as the foundation for a decentralized and spacefaring financial system.
A financial system that works not just on Earth but across the galaxy? That's incredible. But I have to admit, I'm still a bit hazy on how cryptocurrency actually works. What are the basics that our listeners need to understand?
Sure. So, at its core, cryptocurrency is digital money that uses cryptography for security. It operates independently of a central bank, meaning transactions are recorded on a decentralized ledger called a blockchain.
So instead of relying on banks to process our transactions, it's all handled through this blockchain technology.
Exactly. This makes cryptocurrency transactions more secure, transparent, and potentially much faster than traditional banking systems.
But what about the volatility? We hear stories about the price of Bitcoin fluctuating wildly. Isn't that a major risk?
Volatility is definitely a factor, especially in the early stages of cryptocurrency adoption. But as more people and institutions embrace this technology, the market is likely to stabilize.
So it's a bit of a gamble right now, but potentially a very lucrative one if you're willing to take the risk.
It's important to approach cryptocurrency with caution and to do your research before investing. However, Clif High believes that understanding and utilizing cryptocurrency will be essential for navigating the financial landscape of Sci-Fi World.
He predicted that Bitcoin would reach $100,000, and we've already seen it surpass that milestone. So he's clearly on to something. But let's be honest, the idea of cryptocurrency still seems intimidating to a lot of people.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone who's completely new to this world?
The first step is education. There are countless resources available online and offline to learn about the basics of cryptocurrency and how to invest safely.
It's like learning a new language, but potentially a very valuable one in the future.
Exactly. Once you understand the fundamentals, you can start exploring different types of cryptocurrencies and choose investments that align with your risk tolerance and financial goals.
It sounds like cryptocurrency is more than just a financial tool. It's a whole new way of thinking about money and value exchange.
It is. And Clif High believes it's a crucial step towards creating a more equitable and decentralized financial system, one that empowers individuals and communities rather than relying on centralized institutions.
That's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that we're still talking about predictions. No matter how compelling the data might be, there's always a chance that things could unfold differently.
Absolutely. It's important to approach these predictions with a healthy dose of skepticism and to remember that the future is not set in stone. We have the power to shape it with our choices and actions.
This deep dive has certainly given me a lot to think about. From remote viewing and data analysis to intergalactic internet and the rise of cryptocurrency, it's mind-boggling to consider the possibilities that lie ahead.
It's a journey into the unknown, but one that I believe is filled with incredible potential.
Stay tuned, because we're not done yet. We'll be right back after a quick message to explore more of Clif High and Dick Allgire's insights, including their predictions about the timing of these events and the challenges we might face along the way. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been on quite the journey so far, exploring all these predictions about Sci-Fi World. We've talked about the collapse of fake science, the rise of cryptocurrency, even this crazy idea of accessing an intergalactic internet.
It's definitely a lot to process, but I think that's what makes this so fascinating. We're pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible.
Totally. And I'm curious about the timeline for all of this. When do Clif High and Dick Allgire actually see these events happening?
Well, they both seem to think we're already in the beginning stages of this shift into Sci-Fi World. They say the next few years are going to be super important with major breakthroughs and disruptions.
So this isn't some distant future scenario. We're talking about changes that could happen within our lifetime.
Yeah, they think so. Clif High specifically mentions this period of intense change starting around 2025. He even has a name for it. The Time of Sorrows.
The Time of Sorrows, huh? That sounds pretty intense. What does he mean by that?
He basically suggests that a lot of the systems and structures we rely on are going to start crumbling, like governments, banks, even the scientific community.
So like a total societal meltdown.
Maybe not that dramatic, but he definitely thinks there's going to be a lot of upheaval as people lose faith in the institutions they used to trust.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already seeing some of that happening now.
Right, and Clif High thinks this period of instability is when the secrets revealed event will take place.
Oh yeah, the whole Antarctica thing.
Exactly. He sees it as this massive catalyst for a global shift in consciousness. Like, humanity is going to wake up and realize that everything we thought we knew was wrong.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So the time of sorrows leads to secrets revealed, which then ushers in Sci-Fi World.
Something like that. But it's not going to be a smooth transition. There are going to be challenges along the way.
Like what kind of challenges?
Well, for starters, there's the whole economic disruption thing. As fake science crumbles and new technologies emerge, certain industries are going to become obsolete.
So there's going to be a lot of job displacement and economic uncertainty.
Most likely. And that could lead to social unrest and political instability.
So it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Not exactly. But Clif High also sees a lot of opportunity in all this. He believes that the collapse of the old systems will create space for new, more equitable systems to emerge.
Okay, so it's like a destruction and creation cycle.
Yeah, kind of. And he believes that those who are prepared and adaptable will be able to thrive in this new world.
So what can we do to prepare? Like, how do we make sure we're on the right side of this transition?
Well, practically speaking, it's smart to diversify your income streams, develop essential skills, and build strong community connections.
So, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right. And on an emotional level, it's about cultivating resilience, adaptability, and a willingness to embrace change.
So basically, we need to be ready for anything.
Pretty much. Because the future is uncertain, but it's also full of potential.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
Mm.
I feel like my mind has been stretched in all sorts of new directions.
I know, right? It's not every day we get to explore the possibility of intergalactic internet and the collapse of fake science.
And who knows, maybe some of these predictions will actually come true.
Time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the future is going to be very interesting.
This has been The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.